Welcome, Falah. Welcome to the TEDx stage.
Hi.
Happy to have you here.
Happy to be here.
Right. So I was introduced to your comics at an indie comics fest in Bangalore, I think. And it was really surprising because I picked it up and I didn't expect it to be so funny. Right. So I'm sure everybody here would love to hear a lot more about your comics, your creation process. So let's get into it. So in your comics, the themes that mainly stand out to me are identity, faith, belonging. So how do you approach these sensitive topics as a way to create dialogue rather than, deepening divisions?
So I think I do it with a sledgehammer because if you've read my work or if you guys read my work, there's no subtlety or nuance in what I do. It's very on the nose. It's like I don't pull my punches. Like if you have a look at the slide, like I made this comic called Mal Ho Na Ho, in which Musalman visits Aryan Khan in jail. And when Aryan asks him, why is he being persecuted this way, Musalman says that, it's penis politics. उनको ये डर है कि हमारा उनसे बड़ा है और हम कटवा भी लेते हैं तो अच्छा भी दिखता है. This is what Musalman says. So there's no subtlety or nuance in, I think, my work. And I feel like when it comes to these differences that we see in society today, they're very surface level, that we look beyond them. We have a lot more in common, and I think my work tries to highlight that. Because I feel like for me, faith has always been a fluid thing. Like growing up in Bangalore, I think we celebrated all festivals together, Eid, Diwali, Christmas. I do try and read namaz as often as possible, but I also practice vipassana. Like I know the Lord's Prayer by heart, Sometimes in namaz, I'm like, Our Father who art in heaven, Allah be thy name. Which even confuses Allah, I guess, in this situation. But, and I have despite my mother's wishes, and even though Islam forbids it, I have statues of Shiva and Ganesha in my room. In fact, when I was moving back home, I was like, that my biggest debate was, where do I put this? Do I put these in the closet? Am I closeted Hindu? Because if my mother knows these things, I think before the mob gets to me, my mom will lynch me first. So, but I feel belonging-wise, I feel like Musalman has always been a beacon for the people who don't belong, because I've always felt like an outsider in whatever community. I was never really fit in. So Musalman is a representative of that. Other people who also feel similarly can find belonging, because he's a person from a different age and time. I grew up in India, which is far more multicultural, which is constantly under attack. It's disappearing. So I find that Musalman is actually a representative and a fighter for that India that we grew up in and we don't see around us anymore.
Yeah, Musalman is much needed. So can we have him out here?
To get Musalman here, you guys have to say Jai Shree Allah thrice.
Okay, let's hear it. I'll start. Jai Shree Allah, Jai Shree Allah, Jai Shree Allah. So, all right.
Yep, that's Musalman. And this, by the way, is the Musalman casual. It's the days where I wear the underwear on the inside.
Right. So thanks, Musalman. Thanks for coming on to the TEDx stage. Super cool to have you here. Mm-hmm. As India's only Muslim superhero, what's your origin story?
To my origin story, for that we have to go right back to the beginning. I was actually born on 9/11 or 11/9, as how we as Indians should call it, because screw the American calendar. It's 11/9, guys. It's not 9/11. As for how I became Musalman, well, you can have a look. I was bit by a radioactive goat, which is why I cannot eat mutton anymore. As for what I do like eating, I don't think I want to say that for the safety of everyone here, and we don't want this beautiful venue to be broken down. So I will keep that a secret. For that, you have to read the books. But to tell you the truth, I think it was during the pandemic, I was having a crisis of faith. I was questioning everything about my existence, why I'm here, what is my purpose. And generally having existential crisis of sorts, when a friend came to me with a piece of advice, and he sent me on a vision quest where I found myself in the desert, in the Run of Kutch, in the White Sands. And in my journey over there, I came across a Sufi saint. The Sufi saint was called Yusuf Sahib, Yusuf Sahib, who actually happened to convert my family to Islam 500 years ago. And he had the answers I was seeking. He told me how I'm actually a descendant of Ram, how my family was converted to Islam 500 years ago to keep my identity a secret, that I might emerge when the true evil rises. And my purpose here is to fight Tana Shah.
LOL. So, who's your arch nemesis? I'm guessing it's not Tanasha? Or?
Well, Tanasha is the big villain, but the person who's actually like the most problematic for me right now, who's keeping me up at night, is a guy called Chairman Mouse. He came to me with this idea that he wants to make a franchise. He wants to make me a global movie star, that he might make me a part of the Revengers. But I realized later that he's actually working with Tanasha. Tanasha is the one pulling the strings at the end of the day.
More power to you then. So I just watched the Superman movie, and I'm gonna lead with this question. But what's your kryptonite? Do you have one?
Why would I say that out in a public platform? Are you working with Tanasha to find my secrets?
No, this is a safe space. You can trust us with this.
Well, okay, if I gotta trust you, I think I hate milk. Musalman's lactose intolerant. That's the breaking news.
Wow, you and the rest of India. Okay, so how does Musalman, or you, Musalman, how do you feel about the rest of the League of Heroes out there?
What heroes? I don't see any heroes around, to be honest. And I can tell you, I don't know about fitting in, but I can tell you who I hate. I hate Shaktiman. I think Shaktiman's too old and too preachy. I think he should retire or pass the mantle on to somebody younger. But I am good friends with Mr. India. Although I don't see him around very often anymore. I think they forced him to change his name to Mr. Bharat, I guess.
Okay, but you just can't smooth over your hate for Shaktiman. But we'll get to that later. So can we have Falah back? I have a question for him.
All right, you have me now, yeah.
Okay, so do we have Falah with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so Falah, you're a creator of comics, and in your process, how do you toe the line between satire and activism?
I think a lot of people, when they ask me what is Musalman's main superpower, I tell them that he's equally offensive to everybody. His catchphrase is Jai Shree Allah, after all, Because I grew up with South Park. I grew up watching South Park. I really loved it. And the guys at South Park, what they did was they make fun of everybody equally. It's equal opportunity offense. And they made fun of Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, and people were they must be atheists if they make fun of religion. And then they go ahead and make fun of atheism as well. So in my opinion, nothing is really sacred. Nothing is off the board. Everything is free to be made fun of. And I think that was my main takeaway when, as a kid, I was reading Harry Potter. There's this thing called a Bogart, right? When you're faced with a Bogart, it forms the most evil, your greatest fear is formed in front of you. And the only way to beat it is by making it ridiculous and making fun of it. So my goal then becomes to if something scares me, make fun of it. It stops being scary anymore. And when it comes to satire, one of my favorite comedians, Stuart Lee, says that it's satire if it's just like how it is here, but if it has animals, which is why in the very first Musalman story, he takes on Arnab Kauswami. And for me, because journalism is the key thing, and I believe my comics are a form of gonzo journalism. Gonzo journalism is a immersive form of journalism where you're the protagonist of the story and you're writing writing from the first person perspective, and you can throw objectivity out the window. And Hunter Thompson believed that you can actually tell more through fiction. And then it also is a sort of a hypersigil. A hypersigil is when you create a symbol that represents what you desire. And a hypersigil is, my whole comic book is a form of hypersigil. This comic that you see up there, it was a story called Musalman and Star Woman that we made in January 2021, in which there's a character called Melon Musk, there's a character called Joe Rogan. We made this and put it out on a Friday. Within 1 week, the real Elon Musk was on real Joe Rogan set, saying in the exact same set that we do. So I'm not saying that I'm controlling one of the most richest people through my comics, but I do apologize for his ketamine addiction.
And how would you say, that comics play a role, and you, more importantly, as a creator, play a role in combating polarization?
So a lot of people just assume that because I make Musalman, my DMs are flooded with hate messages. Luckily, they are not, or not yet. And when it comes to polarization, it has actually had the opposite effect, because in my page, I have this, I made a video in 2019 when Kashmir was under lockdown, Musalman in Kashmir, where he propagates an Akhand Bharat. He wants a united India. So a lot of people come to my page to troll me and stuff, but when they see that video, they say that, if more Muslims were like you, we wouldn't have a problem with Muslims. I've had people DM me and say that, like, I'm from an RSS family, but I read your work and it changed my mind about everything. So keep doing what you're doing, showing people the light. So I feel like Musalman, like, because we see dystopia all around us, we look at news, we look at our feeds, it's all about division and stuff. So Musalman becomes that one beacon of hope, which is showing people the way that, okay, this is a way we can get to a better place together.
True, and that's an important message to carry. Mm-hmm. So can we have Musalman back on stage?
You guys know the magic words.
3 times, guys. All right, we have him back here.
Yep, that's Musalman.
Okay, Musalman, question for you is being a superhero is not just about saving the day, but it's also about representing certain ideals. So what is, according to Musalman, like his major responsibility?
I think my main responsibility is to be the best representative of my community that I can be by breaking every stereotype that you can think of about what it means to be a Muslim. Because first and foremost, I'm a non-violent superhero. Like, even a Gandhian superhero, if you might say, because, I don't like violence. I do my best to, like, avoid a fight, deal with things with wit and humor. I want to show people a way that, it's possible to coexist peacefully without having to compromise on your beliefs. And without compromising your beliefs and having to prove your patriotism to people who don't know how to spell patriotism. Because what our country is, after all, they're like imaginary lines that white people drew to keep us out of their country after they'd looted everything from ours. So I don't believe that there's a us versus them. I think there's no them, it's all us. Sab hamara hai aur hum sab ek hain.
Great, yeah. And what's next for you as a superhero?
Like we were talking about, the next step is making a movie. So Musalman Ka Mohalla is a cricket comedy that I'm working on. Hope inshallah it'll hit your screens soon.
Great, yeah, we're all looking forward to catching that. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here today.
And Jai Shree Allah.